Conceptually, the big problem all hotels have is that they are like all assembly line rationale. And they are turned towards the operation. And they talk about being customer-centric, but of course, there's no such thing. And so they have outsourced to the guest all of the difficult problems of the hotel, which is you'd like to show up here at 10 in the morning, but don't, because I won't let you in. You'd like to leave at 5 instead of 2, but you can't because I'm not going to let you. If you want to find out where your car service is, you go to the concierge, and if you're a line of 2 people in front of you and he's talking on the phone, you wait. If you need to find out where your laundry is, try and find it from housekeeping, call them, try and find out. And so I have a central operator who will throw you to the department, but I will set everything up as departments so that it's easier for me as an operation, and the guest will figure out how to do it. That cycle has taken the hotels to a point where, much like the airline industry or the automobile industry, they've emulated each other every time more. Because they emulate each other every time more, the guest doesn't see much difference. Because it doesn't see much difference, it doesn't pay much difference in price. Because it doesn't pay much difference in price, you have to find obscure ways of charging him more. So you hit him with higher costs for minibar and internet and so forth, and he gets more angry as a customer. So that industry is in that situation now. And because you don't have an enormous differentiation, big chains merge with even bigger chains and start creating, because it doesn't really matter. You could be one. You see today the automobile industry talking about merging even more. Why are they merging even more? The guy from Fiat is complaining, the guy from Renault is complaining. Melcar has gone this last week saying, we've got to merge, why you got to merge? Because there's no difference anymore between the cars. And so you might as well merge. So what the experiment we were trying out was this. If you design a hotel with the guest as the center of your management system, how does it look? And the answer is it looks completely different. And so the first one is that we started with a long list of all the things we hate about hotels. For example, we don't like packing and unpacking. It's an ugly part of the experience. So because this is a business that's 2 hours from São Paulo and about 3 hours from Rio, we pick up people's luggage one day before at home, and we iron it, we put it into the room. So when you arrive at the room, your everything is unpacked and already re-ironed. And when you go away, we send it to you a day later where you are. And so the people in the hotel think, that's crazy. How does a big hotel do it and so forth? But the fact is that the logistics that we found out of picking up and so forth are, in our case, are 2% of the cost of the rate. And for 2%, it's a good add-on. Then we say there's no time to arrive at Toulouse. And we leave the hotel with the problem of making sure the person uses the spa or coordinates their day in such a way as to make it possible for someone else to come in. We also wanted the room to be serviced 4 times a day. 1 cleaning and 3 quick ins and outs when the person is there, without anyone seeing anyone. Just these numbers being right. So we started writing all these things, and people would say, that's crazy, that doesn't work. In the end, we designed a system which is based on clusters. So there are no departments whatsoever. There's no concierge, there's nothing whatsoever. You have one person who is the team leader, who is the main contact with the customer. From the reservation.
So they have one contact person, any trouble, always come to you.
But he's not anything like a butler, which the hotels have invented, because the butler is an intermediary. Yeah. He then goes and talks to all the departments and tries to convince them to do things. We stayed, for example, it was very clear to us some years ago, we stayed in Dubai at that 6-star hotel that looks like a thing. Yeah. And it's the, I don't remember what the name is, it's not The Jumeirah is the big one, and then there's that one with it's shaped like a boat sail.
Oh yeah.
I forgot temporarily.
Burj Al Arab.
Burj Al Arab. So we went to Burj Al Arab, and we stayed at one of these very expensive rooms, and they had a butler just for us. So he sat outside the room, and when you rang for the butler, it would take 20, 30 seconds for him to arrive. However, he was unable to get us a reservation in the restaurant which we wanted, which was underneath and so forth, and he was unable to get us a car to go back to the airport. And he spent almost all of the time complaining to us that it's a horrible job he has because he tries to get the departments to do things, but they don't. So a butler, essentially, in most hotels, is an intermediary that makes you feel like you have someone who's going to solve your problem, but the actual time it takes to solve or how they solve it is not very good anywhere, at any hotel. So we give this person, this group, this cluster, has 6 or 7 people in it. So the functions are all there. Cleaning, waiter, concierge, receptionist, everything's there.
Yeah.
And so when you stay in one area of the hotel, for example, that cluster will be your cluster. And that one person, you get just one number, and we put it on your smartphone, and you just click the icon wherever you are, and that cluster answers that person. When you come back to the hotel 6 months later and you stay in another part of the hotel, the cluster goes with you. So the cluster is not geographic.
Okay. Okay.
The cluster is customer centric.
Yeah.
So they know, they keep in touch with you after. You said you were going to go see tennis at Wimbledon. They send you an email afterwards finding out how it was. Did you like Wimbledon? They send you something on your birthday, they send you an event, and you keep coming back and they move with you. So they're the same people. And everybody in that cluster does everything. So they're all trained to be concierge, they're all trained to be receptionists, they all clean rooms, and they all serve tables in the restaurant.
Okay.
So the one who is closest, they just let each other know. They say, Johan left room 4 and he's going to the coffee. One of them goes to the coffee, the other one goes to the room and fixes up. When you come back, the room is ready.
Yeah.
And so then we take...
And those clusters, how many people?
7.
7, okay.
Normally 7, but somewhere between 6 and 8. And so what happens is that your entire experience is such that the hotel always knows what you're doing and where you're going. You're coming back from the tennis court, there's someone there with a lemonade and there's someone to take you. And so the whole time we know everything about you. And because we know everything about you and we're close to you, you tell us things. And because you tell us things, we learn things. When we learn things, we contact you. When we contact you and you learn, then you come back. And so our return rate is very high already.
Yeah.
And now, we pay these people at market or a little bit below market, a fixed salary. And then they get 12.5% of revenue directly to their pocket. So they have a direct connection with occupancy.
Yeah.
And so when occupancy is relatively good, they already make twice as much as they would make at any other hotel. So they never leave. So because they never leave, and you come back, and with the cluster
They recognize, okay, the same day.
and they so they know all the numbers, and the purchasing is done by parts of the cluster. For example, one of them takes care of buying wine, the other one takes care of bar glasses. So you don't have a purchasing department working with order. You have people who look and they say, no, this glass, people don't ever ask for this glass. I'm not going to buy any more of this glass.
Yeah.
And they know all the numbers down to the very last bits. And they exchange information. And with that, because they know, they say, well, now we're getting into the season of this, let's do that, and so forth. Some of them, for example, in some clusters we have guys who are waiters, who clean rooms, but who are tennis professionals. We have another one who's a piano player, so he plays piano at night. So the end result of this is that we have almost 1/3 the size of the staff that all of the hotel consultants said we needed to run the hotel. So our break-even point of the hotel is 27%. A against an average of 44% in the business. So after 27%, we're already making money. So the hotel went into profitability in the 16th month, and that was that. So
and that's the one currently Habitat dos Tomatoes?
Yeah, it's called Botanique.
Botanique, yeah.
But
Botanique.
it's in the Meadows, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a hotel that pretty much solved all of its issues in this time. It's a hotel that has relatively few rooms.
Because when I read about it, but it was also for people who couldn't spend a lot of money, right? So
It was, but
Or is
now the starting rate is 800 euros, so it's expensive. But these are 200 square meter rooms.
yeah.
It's got 7,000 square meters of common area for the hotel. It's got 1,000 square meter spa. It's 1,000,000 square meters in size with forests and so forth. Now, this entire hotel has 39 employees. And 39 employees includes a high gastronomy kitchen from the guys who ran Daniel Boullou's restaurant was the sous chef in New York. Has an entire 1,000 square meter spa with water treatments and chlorines and so forth. And this includes security, gardening, kitchen staff, and so forth. And so 39 people for the hotel business is impossible. Are the consultants that we called in from Cornell put it at 112. And then we had our competitors, our two competitors, have 121 of them and 106 the other one. And we have 39. And that brings the break-even dramatically down, brings the recognition enormously up. But there's no such thing. There's no front test, there's no check-in, there's no check-out, none of the hotel issues exist. People don't worry about money. We don't charge minibar, internet, telephone, laundry, nothing. That's all in the rate, let's say. Yeah, also, people cannot give tips. We don't accept tips so that people know that they're being treated well because the person authentically wants it.
Exactly.
And they're not working for a tip.